Hey, welcome back. Friday the 13th, March the 13th. It would be March the 13th, wouldn't it? Being Friday the 13th, 2026. When we last met, we were going through comic books. Drew the dog just got a bath. I just took her down to the basement and took a shower with her. And so she's all clean now. And then at 3 o'clock today, we have an appointment to go get her nails clipped because they're ridiculously long. We used to have a groomer we'd take her to that would bathe her and clip her nails, and that groomer moved off to Transylvania. And the other groomer in town is booked until the apocalypse. So anyway, so that's what I've been doing. But when we left off on these comics, we were going through the A section of the Bronze Age. Now, as I told you before, I separated my Silver Age and back comics from my Bronze Age and up comics, have them in separate boxes. I just thought it was the smart thing to do at the time, about the time that I started this channel, about 7 years ago, I guess. Now, the golden age of comics, of course, from the inception of comics. Well, there was something called the Platinum Age, but everyone ignores that. There was the golden age of comics from around 1938 till, I would say, a few years after World War II, when all the superheroes pretty much died off. There was no longer an axis to go up against, and superheroes were not as exciting anymore to kids. And then the late 40s and into the early 50s, I've heard people call it the atomic age, which makes sense. I've heard people call it the uranium age, which means the same thing. Not many people call it that, but in fact, maybe no one calls it that. Maybe I got confused one time and I couldn't think of atomic age and I said uranium age. I don't know, but that's when superheroes were replaced by crime, horror, and stuff like that. And superheroes just pretty much, except for the big ones like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, they stuck around, but pretty much all the heroes died off. And then, of course, the superheroes returned, and when they returned, and with Flash returning, that's when, in the late 50s, that's when the Silver Age took off, and the Silver Age lasted, in my opinion, until 1972. Some people say until 1970. Some people now say until 1975, which I kind of like that idea, until comics went up to 25 cents. That's what Captain Strangelife's trying to propose, and I think that's great. And then after that is what do they call that age? the Bronze Age. Well, it starts. When does it end? I think it ends when, to me, it ends in the mid 80s when all the warlocks and witches came over from England and started writing the comics, and they were good writers, but they, weren't really appropriate for comics, in my opinion. And DC killed off all their classic heroes and storylines and tried to consolidate everything with Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I don't know, Marvel, then the 90s happened, which was a horrific nightmare, and everything since then has been almost everything has been just a boring mass of garbage. So, some people call the junk age. There's some guy not too far from here calls it the junk age. I don't know what you would call it. The modern age, people call it, whatever. I don't know. But you think, well, when did people start calling the golden age the golden age? And when did people start saying, okay, this time period is the Silver Age? When did, and I looked that up, and And it was in Justice League of America number 42 in the letters column. Someone wrote in and said something like, because they're bringing back a lot of the classic heroes and the crisis stories every summer from the Justice Society, and they said, if you keep bringing back all these heroes, people are going to call this the Silver Age. And so apparently that reader is the one that kind of introduced that term, or was the first person to say it. Now, when they started calling it the Bronze Age, I don't know, because I was around during the Bronze Age. I don't know when people started saying the term Bronze Age. But it's always interesting to see when terms start. It's like, people are, obviously the people around during the Golden Age, well, that's the Golden Age, but people are always going to be most fond of the age that they were around for. Now, my father was a Korean War and Vietnam War vet, and I remember him telling me that in the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, that the World War II veterans were very snobbish. They didn't really accept those people that were in those lesser wars. You weren't as cool as us because we're the World War II guys, and so I guess maybe that's why. Well, it was a Golden Age, but you're a lesser thing. You're the Silver Age, and you're the Bronze Age. Well, anyway, all three of those ages were pretty great. Towards the end of the Bronze Age, it got a little weak, but and anything since then, with few exceptions, has been pretty much garbage. Like I said, if someone had come to you in 1975 and said, hey, I've got a couple of boxes of old comics, you'd say, oh boy, it's going to be great. Because every comic published before 1975 was great, or at least interesting in some way. I mean, if it was a box of only Classics Illustrated, there'd still be some great stuff in there. But everything was great. And now if someone says, I've got a couple of boxes of old comics, you say, oh boy, it's just going to be a bunch of 90s crap. Because it's just... So anyway, whatever. You came here to watch, to look at comic books, so let's look at comics. Yeah, Okay, whatever. So, okay. We looked at Action Comics. We're going through all my comics is what we're doing. Come on. Where's the best place to put this camera, man? Oh, boy, this is annoying. Let me move this. Okay. We'll put it like this. No. How about over here? Oh, hold on a second. Oh, shit. We're back. Okay, yeah, sorry. My wife called, and I'm recording with a phone, so... yeah, so... I don't have anything to say to you. Let's see. We're looking at comic books. Yeah, there weren't any bad comics that came out in the 40s, 50s, or 60s, or early 70s. Name one. I mean, there were some that might have been bad, but they were so bad they were kind of fun. Like when they turned Dracula into a superhero at Dell. And even the fact that it had probably one of the artists I hate the most on the planet Earth, Tony Tallarico, illustrating it, it was still fun. Okay, so we looked at Amazing Adventures with Killraven, as I recall. And that last episode, I was showing comics, and then I went and did my radio show on KLIF. And then I came back and showed some more books. And some of you probably tuned out when I started the music, because that's how some people don't like music, or they only like, some kind of horrible music that, and so they tuned out. But if you go to the very end of that episode, then you'll see that there were some comics shown. But I'll show them again. You know, I got these readers because they fixed my eyes for distance with the cataract surgery, so I could see fine. But close up, I'm always used to my whole life being nearsighted mostly, where I can see close up. And at a distance, I put on glasses. And then most of my world is close up. I mean, with reading, comics, phones, whatever. But now, having everything backwards, the doctor recommended the perfect surgery. I'd be able to see close up and at a distance. But that wasn't approved by my insurance, and my insurance wouldn't pay a dime of that. And it was like, I'd have to take out a home equity loan or something. But thinking back on it, I probably should have done that to have the luxury of not having to put these on and off. Where they put lenses in, and then you go back a couple of times and they adjust it with ultraviolet light somehow to make it all perfectly custom. But so I went with what's approved by my insurance, and even then I still had to pay, I think, was it $1,900 was the part that wasn't paid by my insurance. So yeah, it gets expensive getting old. Okay. Did I show you? I showed these Arak Son of Thunder comics last time. And I showed you. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, this is what we'll start here. Astonishing Tales, Khazar. Technically, Marvel says you're supposed to pronounce it Khazar. Okay, but I've always pronounced it Khazar, so it's going to be real hard for me to change that. That's issue 14. The previous issues of Astonishing Tales, I have them with my Silver Age comics. Here's 15. Gosh darn it. Come on. Okay, and this is a flash from the past from 3rd grade. This is my 3rd grade copy of I bought that in 3rd grade. I just got a text message from Kevin Johnson at Gotham City Comics. He says that Throwback Television, that channel that shows all the cool old TV shows and cartoons, has its own channel on Roku instead of all these screens you have to click through to get. So I'll have to check that out here in a minute. He sent me that message right as I was about to bathe Drew the dog, and so I've got to check that out. Here's 23. And now a 79-year-old gentleman came into Gotham City Comics a few days ago and said he has like 2 or 3 boxes of Golden Age comics, Superman, Batman kind of stuff. There's 25. He said they were his older brothers, and that he would bring in a bunch and then allow Kevin to sell them on consignment. And then when they sell, he'd bring in another bunch like that. So I don't know if he's brought in the first bunch yet or not, but thought I'd let you know about that going on. And I'm about to get some. I don't have many issues of Deathlock. I don't know why, but I'm about to get pretty much almost all the issues I'm missing of Deathlock in Astonishing Tales from Kevin that he just got from another buy. Here's 33. That's my childhood copy. I remember buying that in Tacoma, Washington. I've got this crappy comic here called Atlantis Attacks. Look at how terrible that looks. Submariner looks like he's 16 years old. I don't know why I have it. I got it from a dollar bin. Horrible. I'm ashamed of it. Okay, then there's Atlantis Chronicles. I showed this last time. I'm just showing stuff I showed last time because I just figure nobody wants to hear my music, so they didn't stay until the end of the show. Well, that's too bad. Okay, you have to go to see that. And my Sword of the Atom, I showed that last time too. I'm not going to show it again. Okay, so this is where we actually were. Starting the Bronze Age Avengers. And here's issue 1.5, made to look like a Silver Age comic. Pretty good job Bruce Timm did. I like the whimsical style of Bruce Timm and Mike Allred man, yeah, right. Marie Severin. I'm trying to think of the artist that passed away that was real good, that did New Frontier. Okay, so here's the first Bronze Age issue of the Avengers. Issue 93. Yes. Avengers 93. Let's do them. Okay. Okay. 94. And the Bronze Age starts when this strip goes across the top. In my world, that's when it starts. I don't know about you. What do you think? Okay, what do we have here? Issue number 95. 95. And 96. '97. It's almost kind of the first appearance of the Invaders. I don't think officially. 97. 98. 99. 100. Now, the Barry Smith cover. All through the 70s and maybe into the early 80s, I don't know. Barry Smith was Barry Smith. Here's another issue of 100. It's a little browned around the edges. So I can't switch from saying Kazar to Kazar. I can't switch to Barry Windsor Smith, which he decided to be called at some point. So to me, he'll always be Barry Smith. 101. It's not that I'm trying to be a jerk about it. I don't know. It's something about calling him that. 101. It's either it's Barry Windsor Smith because he's royalty. Usually, when they say someone's full name, like Lee Harvey Oswald or John Wayne Gacy, usually it's because they're horrible people, killers, and they don't want. And there's like other John Gacy's and other Lee Oswalds in the country, and they don't want. And it's like, oh, all of a sudden that person's name is going to become associated with all the worst people that have ever lived. And so they figure, well, let's put the middle name in there so the other people that just live in Peoria, Illinois, with that same name won't be associated with those crimes. So, too. I mean, if I started just calling myself with my middle name, I don't know, something pretentious about it, but it's all right. He deserves to be pretentious. He's a great artist. 103 has a subscription increase. How about that? That makes it more valuable. Just kidding. Well, here's the 103 that doesn't have that. Yeah, they posted on Facebook. Gotham City just sent me a text back. Okay, so apparently Throwback TV has posted on Facebook that they've solved the problem because Throwback has been losing its signal constantly. You can't watch a show without it dropping, and then you have to keep pressing through all these screens to get back to it, and it's annoying to the point where I kind of stopped watching it. Here's 104, also with a subscription increase. And here's 104 without a subscription increase. How about that? Yeah. Yep. 105. It's got some shipping at the top, which is not something you normally associate with comics from this time period. Normally you see that on the old 12-cent Silver Age comics, but probably this was in a toasty and, most of these comics spent most of their lives in Texas, so it was probably in some hot place before it came into my possession. 106. When we get to a lot of these came from a friend of mine, 107, that, now my friend is not named 107. My friend Randy gave me a long box of Avengers comics, starting with, I think, issue 16, and going up through about 1975. And so I'll show you when. So a lot of these I got right before COVID from my friend Randy, because he just figured he was keeping like his Amazing Spider-Man comics and some other books, but he thought, well, he sold all his. He had like every issue of X-Men from 1 through the new X-Men, and he sold that on Heritage, and he just felt like he didn't. Here's another copy of the same issue. He wasn't real happy with it. He said, I'd rather just give these to someone that would appreciate them. And anyway, so that's what happened. It's a really cool thing. So I had some of the issues, not many. That's why you're seeing some duplicates. It's because of ones that I already had. 111. When we get to my first Avengers comic I bought when I was in 4th grade, I think, I'll let you know when childhood copies appear, because I'll immediately know that issue. 112, 113. $114. Still in the 20-cent era. 20-cent era is a wonderful time period. Oh, man. Oh, I forgot how horrible this is to hold up comics. Especially when I'm leaning way over a long box. I'm not used to these long boxes. I'm used to comics being in short boxes. And when you lean over a long box, this reminds me of when you go to comic conventions and you're under someone's table and they've got long boxes and you're stretching way down underneath the table. 116. That's not fun even when you're in your 20s. 116. Here's another copy of 116. 117. Look at the floating heads. Wait. Did I just show you 2 copies of this? I don't know. 117. Avengers 118. Oh boy. Let me just pull these out so I don't have to keep reaching over. 118. 119. 119. This has a... This feels like it had some moisture damage. It was little... Yeah. But look, it was bought at a PX. You see that little stamp? That means that some kid or GI bought it, or whatever, serviceman bought it, or woman bought it at a base exchange. Here's 120. 121. Ooh, this is a nice cover. 122. Another copy of 122. 123. 124. We're into the... When did we go up to a quarter? Okay, 122. Okay, 122 is 20. 123 is the first 25-cent copy. And 124 is a 25-center as well. Okay. 125. 126. 127. Oh, here we go. Oh, shoot. Which one is it? Oh, it's this one? Sorry, hold on. Okay. This would be the first Avengers comic I ever bought. You know, I bought this at a PX. Is there a stamp on it? No. Maybe it's on the back, or maybe they didn't stamp this one. This is issue 128 from the 25-cent time period. This is the first issue of Avengers I ever purchased. I know I've got 3 copies here, but which one is from my friend Randy's collection? I don't know. 128. Smart people write on the back, but see, I'm not a smart person. But I know this is mine because it's got a My Light on it, and I put all my comics in My Lights in the early 80s. So this is 129. People used to speculate, remember around COVID time, because they're the next big villain in the Marvel movies is going to be Kang the Conqueror, and everyone thought, oh boy. I just added the app, trying it out now, says Kevin at Gotham. We'll try it out here in a moment. You'll hear live on the show. But anyway, that didn't work out too well. Yeah, the because they introduced Kang in some horrible, what was it, Loki TV series, and then it was all terrible. They just gave up on that character. I think the actor playing him turned out to be some crazy evil. Well, everyone in Hollywood's evil, I think, but at least they caught him. So I think they fired him. I don't remember what happened. Who cares? They ruined all of that. Okay, so that's that box. This box is the action. Yes. Okay. I think I'll do some moving here. Well, wasn't that exciting? You've gotten to see 2 long boxes of comics. Well, not this morning, but if you watched last Sunday's show. Okay. What is this mess? Okay, more Avengers. A lot of Avengers, man. Oh, that's too many Avengers comics. Oh, we're going to move into Batman, too. Because after Avengers, there's going to be Batman. Because, yeah, V is A, and then V is one of the last letters in the alphabet. And then, what are then BA? What other comics are there that start with BA that were... Well, there's probably going to be a couple issues of Barbie, I think, and then I think there was a comic that Atlas put out called Barbarians, but that's in the Atlas box. Oh my gosh, did I turn the show off? No. Hold on, let's check out this this channel here. Hold on a second. So turned on the fan because it's getting a little hot. Tomorrow, no, Sunday it might snow, Sunday and Monday, but it was weird. We had 73-degree weather on Wednesday, and no, that was Tuesday. And then Wednesday morning it was snowing, some of the biggest snowflakes I've ever seen. It didn't stick to the ground, but it was really impressive and beautiful. All right, so let me show you. So if you search on your Roku box, if you have a Roku, I typed in throwback, and then this is the throwback app there. So I click on it, and then you click add app, adding throwback television network, add app, app added. Throwback television has been added to home to move it. Okay, open app. Okay, now I won't have to go through all those extra steps to get to it. Okay.
Thank you very much,
Red Skelton.
It's always surprising to walk
Well, let's see how long this goes. If this works, then all the problems that throwback television has had in the last month or so have been solved. So, fantastic, good news from Kevin, Gotham City. Actually, right now, I think I want to see it just it just went off. Same shit. Let's see. Really? No, do not exit. Okay, it looks like maybe it's just a direct link to it, but it still cuts itself off. Well, that solved that problem. Oh my God. Well, I want to watch Alex Jones, but let's let this channel knock itself off one more time, and then we'll switch over to Alex Jones, who started at 11. Okay, whatever. Okay, so. Okay, well, this is when, yeah, see, it went off the air again. Dang, well, I was very optimistic, but what can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? Let's get out of here. Go over to Rumble and hit the live feeds on Rumble. There's Alex Jones. You gotta click through a couple of commercials. They say this is run by the Antichrist, Peter Thiel, who was the guy that financed the vice president's rise to power, something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong. Okay. So anyway, here's sorry I got distracted by all that. Be interesting to see if Kevin's having the same experience with it shutting off right away. Maybe it's my Wi-Fi. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. Anyway, Frankenstein's monster appears in this issue. 131. And then here, they continue to fight Frankenstein's monster in 132. There's another copy of that. 133.
And one of the significant and important pieces of this case is to understand why justice was never pursued.
134. I need to tape these, but my tape dispenser is out of tape. There's no store here locally that carries tape. So, 135. $136. Anyway, I was afraid this would be boring because this is probably everything you mostly all have is this time period. I mean, I figure everybody's got all this, probably. So, okay. 2 copies of 130. See, it's still a wonderful time period in comic history. 140. 141. It's basically the Avengers fighting the Justice League because the Squadron Sinister is supposed to be like a evil version kind of the Justice League. Here's 142. How about that? All right, let's leave those books out so we can go through this box movies. Oh, 142. They take on all the Western guys. Here's another copy. Kid Colt and the Rawhide Kid and the Ghost Rider. And I forget what the other guy's called. Ghost Rider, who's I think by this point is called the Knight Rider. 143. Here's a beat up copy of 143 with a missing little chunk. 144. I always liked this character, the Hellcat. That's cool. When she joined, she didn't really get more than 3 or 4 issues around 1972 when she had her own comic. And then I really like the character of Tigra. And I have her first appearance in giant-sized chillers. Here's a Kirby cover, 148, when Kirby came back to Marvel. Ooh, here we have the first missing issue of the Bronze Age, 148, and I do not have 149. Yes, I do. It's out of order. It was after 150. Here's 149. Let's see when the first hole is going to happen. That'll be interesting because that means that the comics weren't interesting anymore, and I wasn't buying them every month. So that would be a okay. Here's a Kirby cover, at least Kirby penciled, 151. And this is Kirby also, 152. Look at the, oh, it's like the skull that's looking at the UPC code trying to figure out what it is. What is that thing? They didn't have those things back when I was alive. This is Rise, Wonder Man, you shall become my unliving slave. They couldn't say undead because they were afraid of the Comics Code Authority, because the Comics Code Authority had written into its rules that you're not supposed to have undead characters. So you're unliving. You're not undead. Nothing could stop me now. They would never have a character like that anymore. 152. 153. That also looks like a Kirby cover. Yeah. Yeah, Kirby's doing a lot of covers at this point. Ooh. I think we have some missing issues. 152. 152. 153. Yep, here it happened. We're missing 144, 155, and 156. Here's 157. Why am I missing issues? 158. And then I'm missing 159 and 160. Here's 161. The George Perez Marcos cover. Yeah, I just have a few missing issues here and there that I could probably fill in pretty easily. Except for the fact that there are no comic stores around here. That was 162. 163 is missing. Here's 164. I guess this is from a Whitman pack, 3-pack. Yeah, I guess so, because it has the blank barcode. Either that. No. Okay, so that was 164. I'm missing 165, 166, 167. It's a shame because it's a good time period here. I think I bought this just about. Why am I missing issues? I was buying these. This is 1977 was when a comic book store opened in my town, Lone Star Comics. But I remember, if it's early this is 1978 already with 68. Missing 169, here's 170. I don't know. I guess I just didn't have enough disposable income to buy everything every month. I think I had an allowance, or did I? But I remember I made money by mowing lawns, by washing and waxing cars. You don't ever see people waxing cars anymore. Is that just something from the past? There was a 1969 light blue Ford station wagon that I'd wash and wax, and my mom had a 1972 Dodge Dart Swinger that was also the same color of light blue. I'd wash and wax those two cars and mow the lawn, and that would earn me a chunk of change to take to Lone Star Comics to buy books. But I don't know. 176, missing 177. Here's 178. 178. Now my friend Randy was no longer buying it at this time period, so these are not his collection ended pretty much with the 25 centers. This is later. 179. Here's 180. This one was bought at a military base. You can see the star there, the lower part of the 35-cent price tag there. There's a purple star there. Okay, that was 180. 181. Missing 182. 183. Whenever Alex Jones is quiet, I look over because I'm used to throwback TV going off the air constantly. Whenever I hear silence, it's like, what happened? Okay, so I'm missing 184. Here's 185. Here's 186. I think they just did a facsimile of this. I might be wrong. 186. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the earlier, about 10 years before DC with the floating heads and the horror cover on like a Justice League or something. 186. Okay. 187. Yeah, she went bad for a little bit. I think that's what they were trying to recreate in some of those really bad, more recent Marvel movies. But, of course, they could never get anything right. 187. Missing 188. Here's 189. 190. No backing board on this one. 191. Ooh, I'm missing quite a few. 191. And then I come back for issue 200. I wonder why I'm so sporadic. 200. 201, we're already up to 50 cents. 1980. Ooh, nice. 204. This also, if you look there next to the 50 cent, there's a little stamp of a star indicating this came from a military base. I don't know if that matters to anybody. I think it's cool. I'm sure there's a lot of these modern collectors. How do I remove that stamp? Do I take the cover off and soak it in chemicals? It's part of the history of the comic. It's fascinating to me. Okay. Another copy of 204. 205. Eventually, we're going to get to points where there's 50 issues where I'm between issues. It's 209. No, that's 208. This is 209. Another 209. Another 209. I have no idea why. I have 3 copies of that. 210. Now that's not a Whitman variant diamond. That means that this was a direct sales comic that I bought at Lone Star Comics, because that would have been my local comic store. 211. By this point, Lone Star Comics had moved to its second location. 211. 212. 213. Ooh, this is good. 215. I probably should have all the issues from the Tigra era. I kind of forgot Tigra was in the Avengers. I was thinking of her more in the Defenders. 216. Of all, why wasn't she been in the Marvel movies? Okay. This is 216. I'm missing 217, 218, 219, 220, 221, 222. But luckily I have this one because this one went up in value after this was done in one of the really great Marvel movies, Civil War. That was I think technically that was a Captain America movie. Yeah, they were all good there for a while. They were great, in fact. It was a lot of fun until they stopped being good at all. Funny how that happened. Took Disney taking over not long after that. Things went bad. 223. Oh, okay, so I'm missing a bunch of issues after that. 223. Looks like I come back for 232. 235. 60-cent. Let's see, by this point, all the ads are for these really primitive early home video games, and this is pretty much, yeah, the Win Comics. Well, 237. You're almost to the time where the comics just 237. Okay, so I 237. I come back for 252. Oh, at least they're advertising a board game, Risk, on the back. That Risk was a great game. It's almost like Trump is playing Risk right now. Here's 257. I'll take Venezuela. It seems like I remember Venezuela being a country you could take over in Risk. 257, 259. Oh, this one came from Graphic Man. This was a gift from him because that's how he puts computer printouts in the back of his comics that show information about him. September 85. Well, that's mid-80s is when I kind of say that things started. But there was still a little bit of life in comics, 260, but by the 90s, they were all just wretched. And they keep changing the logo. 261. And I had no interest in these little Secret Wars. I don't know. People say they were good, but I just looked at them as cash grabs, trying to promote a toy line. Let's put all our characters together, and then we'll sell a Secret Wars toy line. She's destroying a bottled water, a little plastic. Who drew that? That's not very well drawn, is it? 262. I don't know. I don't like Submariner's head, although I guess technically his head used to be stretched out like that in the Golden Age. 262. 276. All right, what is this? 281. Surely this is about the end of my Avengers collection. Let's see. Where is it? Maybe not. Hold on. I wonder what's going to happen over in Iran. Well, we're almost at the end. Here's 294. Do they even put this comic out anymore? I don't know. 294 or 296. 300. I've got 2 copies of 300. I don't know if they're important or not. 310. Are we in the 90s now? 1989. Yeah, late 80s are really setting you up for the 90s. Yeah, that's 310. 315. I think that's what was the James, the heck? What was the James Bond movie that had pretty much the same poster? Dog is playing with a cat, so. What the heck? Oh, another copy of it. That was 315. Here's 316. Oh, they went back to the 70s logo here. 318. 319. 321. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, wait. Scheiße. I don't know. I hope this war in Iran doesn't keep dragging out. Here's 326. Looks like we've entered into the dreaded 90s. This is not from 1990. And then got a couple of copies of this issue 328 with The Origin of a Man Called Rage. Drew, leave the little kitten alone. 328. Here's 348. Oh boy. And I don't know. This is from Dollar Bin, 379. Got 2 copies of that. I have no idea why. Let's see what it looks like inside. This is my last Avengers comic I ever bought in my life. 379. Oh, and it's got on the other side this. Okay. Oh, it's yeah. This is the 90s. Just I don't know what the hell is going on. Who is the artist here? And then they have these stupid cards in here, like a subscription card. It was just some tattoos or something. No, it's a subscription card. Yeah, this is about, then. Yeah, that's why I stopped buying comic books, or these type of comic books. I was always buying comic books. I was buying older comics, or I was buying independents. I don't know what. Okay, then after that, I've got my Avengers specials or annuals. This is Avengers Annual 5. From the early Bronze Age, when they first started doing the strip across. Got 2 copies of that. This is a reprint of a 60s story. From this wonderful time period, which is the time period I prefer. Oh, it's a Kang the Conqueror story. So that's number 5. Unfortunately, yeah, I went a little bit too long with the Avengers. Here's number 6 with what appears to be a Kirby cover. All new from 1976. Number 7. Okay. Is it 3 o'clock yet? At 3 o'clock, I've got to take Drew to the vet to get her nails clipped. It's 12:30 p.m. There's still quite a few Avengers comics. Man, I thought it was over. Shoot. Oh my gosh. Here's number 8. Oh, she's always been one of my favorites, Thundra, along with Tigra and the cat, or the Helicat, or whatever they wound up calling her. 9. I have a couple of copies of Giant Size Avengers, which I have with the Avengers comics. I guess I could put it with G's, but that doesn't make any sense to me. That's number 1. I'm missing 2 and 3. Here's 4. And then there's the official Marvel index to the Avengers. I keep all the stuff from a particular comic run together. Here's index to number 2. Got several copies of that. Number 3. And this is not an actual comic. It's just articles about. It just tells you about each issue. It shows you the cover and it gives you information about each issue. It's like a checklist kind of. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. So. Okay, what is this? Oh, Avengers Log number 1. Okay. Oh, I see what this is. They started the Avengers over. I forgot. I think in the 2000s, which is stupid. I always hated that. This is issue 10 of, I guess, the second run of the Avengers. What? I'm all confused. I see this is confused. Then I have, this is issue 1 of something. It says Heroes Reborn, Return, rather. Collector's item, first issue, February 1998. I don't know if this is I don't think this is the first issue of that. But I think that comes before that. So that's 10. Well, I could go by the price. That would tell me. This is a $2.98. It's $1.99. In 1998, comics already cost $3. I think this is from the early 2000s, and it's $1.90. I don't know. I could open it up and find out, but I have no interest. Here's issue 32, and it's okay. Yeah. How you draw the intricacy of her hair. Man. 32. I don't know why they decided to do that with the Scarlet Witch's hair. 148. This is, I'm sorry, 48. This is a real thick comic. Oh, it says 100-page monster. Why is it? What's? Oh, it's reprints. Well, what is this? Maybe the first story is new, but throughout the book it's reprints, which is probably why I bought it. There's a reprint of a Barry Smith story. Yeah, this would be a cool thing for a kid to have purchased. Oh, I see. They're putting now they have the legacy number. This would be issue 463 if they hadn't been stupid enough to restart the numbering. But I think I just threw all this stuff in. I don't know what's what. This is 30. These are probably things I bought from dollar bins, and I don't even know why. That's 31. Here's 77, which would have been issue 492. Oh, this one I actually bought because it looked interesting to me. It says 100th anniversary, the Avengers #1. And who is, I remember seeing this and thinking, who is this artist? And I need to, I don't know, look at this art here. Oh, look at that. Is this artist, is he still working? Yeah, the whole book is really cool. This is from, wow, you open up the comic and there's an ad for a sequel to 300 instead of an actual splash page. But, oh, then you turn and you've got a 2-page splash page with this artist whose name is James Stokoe, Stokoe. And if you know anything about James Stokoe, tell me down below. Not many people put comments on my videos. Feel free to put comments down there. Now that I can see better, I can respond better, but I'll at least like it and give it a heart. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what in the name of heck this even is, but this guy probably left comics and went and started illustrating children's books or something where you can actually make money. James Stokoe. I'll look him up in a little bit. This is Avengers Infinity #1. I don't know what that is. This is apparently a sketchbook from Free Comic Book Day, Avengers Invaders. So the reason I own this is because it was free. This is cool. It's an Avengers comic from Mexico, possibly Spain. Los Invincibles del Siglo XX. Como un rayo mortal del cielo. Oh yeah, and there's a stamp there that says Juarez, so this is from Mexico. Now, I don't know, this might actually be from the Silver Age. Let's take a darn look at this. I think it says 78. 1970. Yeah, September of 1970, or Septiembre. Um, it's oh, that's pretty cool. What issue of Avengers is it? Well, this reprinting. It's cool how they've redone the two-page splash with Spanish words. Wow. And then the lettering isn't done by hand. It's done, looks like Classics Illustrated style, which gives the comic a feeling like makes it feel like a Charlton comic when they do that. It looks like a weird hybrid of Marvel and Charlton. Especially, it also has that Charlton printing. The printing is not quite up to the standards of, yeah, comics from other countries are interesting. I think. There's a movie, I remember the bookstore that I used to go to in second grade in Hampton, Virginia. My mom would take me there every week, and I'd see all the Warren magazines and all those wonderful issues of Vampirella and Famous Monsters. But in the paperback section, I remember there was a new book for a new movie. It was a novelization of a movie called The Werewolf versus the Vampire Woman. And it's a Paul Naschy movie from Spain. And last night, my wife's been on a vampire movie kick. We watched several vampire movies. Last night we watched The Velvet Vampire with Celeste Yarnell, who I remember being a beautiful actress from an episode of Star Trek, and she was also played like a female Tarzan in a movie called Eve, which I've never seen. And she was in an Elvis movie with The Velvet Vampire. She wanted to see that, and we watched a Hammer movie, Lust for a Vampire, the night before. And I said, there's some good Spanish language vampire movies. She's on a vampire kick. It's like, I remember they used to show them on the USA channel that were brought over to the United States and dubbed into English, like The World of the Vampires. But anyway, they've got them in English, kind of washed out. It looks like VHS prints on YouTube. But then Werewolf versus the Vampire Woman, they've got a Spanish language print on YouTube that's beautiful, like beautiful colors and everything. But it's in Spanish, but it has English subtitles. So I was looking at the subtitles. My wife can understand the Spanish. But okay, well, I see why I got this issue. This is Alex Ross cover, and it would have. It says 18, but it would have been issue. Oh man, 728. If this, they're promoting this terrible movie, and then. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I own garbage like this. Issue 32, I obviously got this for the cover. This would have been 732, I think it says. And this is A World. I bought this because it has a Sergio Aragonés cover, from Mad Magazine, and it's obviously a takeoff to the cover I just showed you with Hawkeye and Ant-Man. And I don't know what this comic even is, so I bought it for the cover. And then there was something called The New Avengers. This is issue 46. Because I was always optimistic, maybe comics will get good again. I'll try. I kept trying. 47. Here's issue 4 of Mephisto versus the Avengers. I don't have the first 3. There's a free comic book day book, yeah, it just looks like done on a computer screen digitally. This is This was something, it's kind of beat up. Yeah, very beat up. This was only available, I think, over in PX's overseas, maybe. Something weird about this. It's it's dedicated to the men and women of the U.S. military. America supports you, our military men and women. Only problem is well, I don't know, the art's okay, I guess. It's just typical, but it's yeah, well, whatever. Oh my gosh, look how terrible Hawkeye looks there. What is this? This would have been issue 701, but it says 11 of Avengers. And then the Mighty Avengers? I don't know what. I got this maybe because the cool, it's based on the old art. It's 18 of the Mighty Avengers. And then this is issue 699. I got this for the cover. That is a good cover. I don't know who that artist is, but JL. Okay. I have to admit, that's good art. I am sure that inside, that same artist does not do the art, almost certainly. But sometimes someone will hit it out of the park with a great cover. Inside, it looks like this. A lot of blank space. Oh my gosh, it's just like, yeah, like that. How does... Why can't that be the inside of the Imagine if the comic looked like that inside? But no. Don't worry, we're getting into Batman, and then I won't be making... Because I'm probably hurting a lot of people's feelings, but I love the comics of the 90s and the 2000s. They were so well written. Why is he insulting them? Man, I got up to 942 subscribers, and I was real happy, and then one of them unsubscribed, so I'm at 941 still. Still in my quest to get up to 1,000. But oh, here, now this is a good cover too. It's Avengers and the Invaders, 3 of 12. Nice cover by Alex Ross. It must not be good inside, or I would have bought the other copies. And this one, oh my gosh, what the name of... What? I don't... What? Oh my gosh. It's, who drew this mess? It's, sorry, it's just, I'm looking at this, trying to figure out the proportions. Okay, so it's Spider-Woman. Okay, and I guess that's her rear. So then this leg, there's the knee, there's, what is, oh no, that's not a knee, that's her breast. So, because that leg extends out. At first I thought that was her knee, like, you know, that's the right knee. No, okay, but that's the knee, okay, but how does that leg bend around and attach to the body there? I don't know. It's, you know, these people complain about AI art, and it's getting to the point where, you know, if you don't produce good art, the robots are eventually going to get better at it than you. And if you're Taylor Swift or whatever, whoever's popular now, turning out this wretched music, the robots are going to outpace you, and they're going to suddenly start turning out better music than you. And then Oh well, here's West Coast Avengers #2. I know it should be filed under W, but it's an Avengers comic, so I file them all together. I don't think I have too many West Coast Avengers. Even though that does have Tiger in it, I guess I should. Oh my gosh. Wasn't she in the Defenders too? I'm all confused. Guess we'll know when we get to the D box. Okay. All right, still more Avengers. Issue 3 of West Coast Avengers. Another copy of that. Looks like I came back for issue 20. Why wasn't I buying it more often with Tiger in it? This doesn't compute. Maybe because other things. Maybe the inside is terrible. Maybe that's why. Well, no, the inside doesn't look terrible. No, I don't know why. Let me. What's the year here? 87. Well, you know, things like Iron Man's suit being the wrong colors. I don't know. Maybe it just reads terribly. Maybe I was just disgusted by everything. I don't know. Who knows? Can't buy everything. That's 20. Looks like I came back for 26. What is that? Okay. Oh, all right. Ugh. 43. It looks like John Byrne's taken over. And if he's writing, okay. Here's 46. Oh, here's one of those foil covers from the 90s. Issue 100. Okay, this is a reboot of the Avengers 28. I don't know. This may be that same run we were just looking at. That's either a salute to an old Conan the Barbarian cover, or it's a ripoff, a swipe of it. I think it's probably a salute. Okay. Oh, wait. This is more Avengers West Coast. These are out of order. Avengers West Coast. What? Okay, okay, so I guess West Coast Avengers was 46, and then at 47 it becomes Avengers West Coast. And I guess this is when John Byrne was 48. 50, and then this looks like a one-shot thing. Why do the Avengers battle the Defenders? And Solo Avengers #5. People tell me this is a good little thing. This looks like it was a cover by, I got this for the artwork on the cover. Okay, Dark Avengers. Didn't DC do a similar thing? Justice League Dark. Oh. What is wrong with me? Did I actually buy this garbage? I guess I was just constantly just hoping. Why did I get this from a dollar bin? I don't know. West Coast Avengers #8. And then, oh my gosh. What is this? Is why, see, comics from this time period make your collection look terrible. And then Marvel lost the license to do Robert E. Howard's Conan, and then they got it back. But they didn't get their license back for Red Sonja, even though Marvel had basically created Red Sonja, because the Robert E. Howard's Red Sonja was a different character. But anyway, this is a variant edition of Savage Avengers #1, which I thought maybe this is interesting. They put Conan the Barbarian and some other interesting characters into some, and I never read the storyline, but it looks like I tried to get them to read it, but then I forgot about it, and then I think we moved, and I've forgotten this thing ever even existed. And then they lost the license to do Conan, and I don't know. This is just so depressing. Okay. So the Savage Avengers #2. I guess this is the same thing, but it's another cover. #3. It's got Carnage. This is another copy of 3. You can just, yeah, it's like the Avengers, but it's Conan the Barbarian with a machine gun and the Punisher. And I don't know. Who else is in it? Wolverine, Elektra. I guess they've got Venom. 5. 6. 7. Tell me down below, what is this like? I was just thinking, maybe things can get better. 9. 10. 11. Missing 12. Here's 13. Who else is in this group? I guess Doctor Strange, obviously. Is that supposed to be the new version of the Son of Satan, maybe? Has he grown a beard? I don't know. Oh, wait, that's 13, and here's 12. Oh, boy. Oh, and then I've got I don't know what this is. It's another Avengers issue. And looks like it would have been issue 696. What? Dark Avengers, Dark Avengers. It says first issue of a new era. And then it says it's 175. That makes no sense to me. Okay, I think we finally reached the end of all of my Avengers comics, because we're moving into, I forgot that there was something before Batman. Balder the Brave. Walt Simonson cover. Issue 1 of a 4-issue limited series. I have issue 1. Here's Barbie 29. I think people are starting to collect these. I don't know. Barbie 6. I just pulled them out of dollar boxes. 38. And now I guess we're ready for Batman. Maybe not. Oh yes, I showed this a while back, maybe about 6 years ago, and said I don't know why I have this in my collection. I'm embarrassed, and I think I said I should just tear this in half right now. And I remember, because I remember Graphic Man said, I was rooting that you were going to do that. But I didn't do it. And I don't know why I own this. It's Batgirl 25 with this wretched kind of art. I don't know. And then I have Batgirl 26. I can't understand it. It's almost like someone planted it here. Batgirl 34, the new 52. I remember his name now. The guy that did, because I was talking about these artists like Bruce Timm and Marie Severin and C.C. Beck, and I was Steve Mannion and Darwin Cook. Of course, Dave Stevens. They just look at that. Look at this. This is Batgirl. This is a sideways. Darwin Cook did a whole series of these sideways comic covers that would make they would look great framed. That's what comics should look like. That's the solution. Unfortunately, he passed away. Here's Batman Through the Ages. Okay, now we come to the Batman run. And of course, all my 10 cent, 12 cent, 15 cent, and when DC went up to 25 cents with 52 pages, that's all Silver Age. I have those in separate boxes. But when DC went to 20 cents, that's when the Bronze Age started for me. So this would be the first 20-cent Batman comic in my collection. And so this is Batman 243. And it looks like this came from Captain Strangelove, because you can tell it's got his writing on the back. And he wrote, First Lazarus Pit, good condition. Peace out, lower right front cover. Yeah. Also lower left margin, page 17. He's referring to this missing piece here. So, this book was well loved, but so that's 243. Let's move this. God damn it. I'm sorry, gosh darn it. What was that? Oh, I see. Shit. Okay. Let me shift things around so I can more easily reach to the back of this box. Oh boy. Okay, Batman. What time is it, man? 1 o'clock. Okay, all right. So what was that? That was 243. Here's 244. $250. Horror comics predominated the newsstand at this time in the early 70s, so superhero comics looked like horror comics because Comics Coded relaxed and was allowing horror, so it was a wonderful time to be a kid. That's 252. 252, okay. 253, Batman Meets the Shadow, which was one of the inspirations for the Batman character back in the 30s. 256. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Oh man, 641. Could that be? 256. I better take that call. That's another copy of 250. Let me just tell you what. We'll start over with the Batman books next time, because I don't know, that may be about the appointment later today. Maybe they're asking me to come in earlier because that was a local number calling and I didn't recognize it. So it would be irresponsible to not take that. Yeah, and then I can make a special Batman little thumbnail, and then we could look at all the Batman comics going all the way up to present day. And I also have to get the next box down from upstairs to do. And tomorrow's Saturday. That would be a perfect time. I'll do some. We'll look at Batman, and then I'll do my radio show. 65 to 65. Okay. Darn it. All right, well, I'll see you tomorrow.